Hey guys, David Clayton here with GuitarBreakdown.com, and today I am back with another jazz quick lick based on George Benson. This is a series of licks we've done based on an article in Guitar Techniques magazine. I will put a link in the description below where you can find the series of these quick licks. There's about 20 licks in total in this magazine article, and I would suggest picking it up because all 20 licks are really, really good. And we're only going to break down 6 of them, I think. I keep saying 4 or 5. I think it's 5 or 6. I can't remember. But they all distinctively show a different aspect of what George is known for in his playing, which are double stops, octaves, using chord stabs, and really quick kind of chromatic runs and stuff like that. So you're going to want to check out this article. It's really good. I can't say enough. I keep saying that about Guitar Techniques magazine. This is the March 2013 issue of Guitar Techniques magazine, and we are going to just walk note for note like we always do through this little kind of 4-bar, I think it's a 4-bar, maybe it's a 5-measure kind of lick. Really, really cool stuff. It's a really typical kind of pop kind of progression which George Benson would play over, and it's using some double stops and just some really cool techniques. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I did want to mention again, I'm using an Ibanez jazz guitar that it's straight out of the box. I've not done anything. We're keeping it this way until we get a chance to do a lesson package with this guy, and actually some free lessons too we're going to put on YouTube with this guy named Greg Bach. He's a guitar builder here in Los Angeles. He works on some high-end, popular, famous guitar players, studio session players in Los Angeles, and he's actually building a custom guitar for myself, and it's going to be amazing. He's awesome. I've known him for years. And I'm actually also running through a new Bob Burt cabinet that I've only had for about a week. Amazing cabinet. We've done a review on his pedal, his Allen Hines AH1 distortion pedal. Great pedal. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Bob's a great guy, builds great stuff. His woodworking is amazing, and his cabinets and pedals are really great. So anyway, let's get on with this lesson, and like I said, at the end we will talk a little about theory so that you can incorporate this into your own playing. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Alright, so let's just walk note for note through this idea. It's really, really cool. Again, it's using double stops to outline the chords of the progression. At the end we'll talk a little about the progression it's outlining and how these intervals are working against those chords. So it basically starts with this this octave, right? You're basically playing the 7th fret of the G string and the 10th fret of the E string. And you just hit it and slide it down. It's just a real quick. And then when it gets into it are these little double stops. It's really, really cool. So you have the 9th fret of the D string and the 7th fret of the G string. And then it moves up a whole step. So you're at the 11th fret of the D string and the 9th fret of the G string. Then you bar the 7th fret on the G string and the B string. And then you do this little thing where it's a third interval where you have the 9th fret of the G string to the the 9th fret of the G string and the 8th fret of the B string. And you slide that up a whole step to the 11th fret of the G string and the 10th fret of the B string. So you have. And then you resolve back down that whole step to the 9th fret of the G string and the 8th fret of the B string. So it's. Then it goes into this little thing where it's pivoting off of this D note on the E string. which is giving it a really cool little like pivot point kind of tonal center. Okay, so that is the 9th fret on the G string, 8th fret on the B string, and your pinky's playing the 10th fret on the E string. Then you just move the G and the B string down a half step, so now you're playing the 8th fret of the G string and the 7th fret of the B string, and your pinky stays on that 10th fret of the E string. So that whole thing is. Then it slides into this where you're playing the 7th fret of both the the 7th fret of the G and B string. You slide into that, and then you play the one note on the A note on the E string, 5th fret. Right? It's almost like a D major shape. So you have. And then it goes back to that first double step that you played, which is the 9th fret D string and 7th fret of the G string. So that whole thing together is. And then it plays that same double stop you just landed on one more time to start the next phrase. So you have the 9th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the G string, and then now you play that same familiar double stop that you've been playing, but now move down to the 6th fret of the G string and the 5th fret of the B string. And then you slide that up a half step to the 7th fret of the G string and 6th fret of the B string. So that whole thing is. And it does a cool little slide between those two from the, again, if you think your first finger is the root of what we're doing, you're on the 5th fret, right? And you're still doing the 5th fret of the B string, 6th fret of the G string, and you slide that up a half step, down a half step, up a half step. So you have, right? So you have. And then it just does this another half step thing where your second finger's on the 5th fret of the G string, first finger's on the 4th fret of the B string, and then you move that up a half step. So the whole thing is. And that's the end of the phrase. Just a really cool double stop phrase that really outlines the chords, and we will get into real quickly just a little bit of theory of what these chords are that are being outlined and how this is actually outlining those chords.